We've all seen this familiar sight before. In fact, it's been with us for nearly as long as a mechanical cotton picker. This kind of equipment has always been capable of producing quality results in the hands of an experienced operator. However, in response to today's high labor rates, many of you have asked for a higher efficiency spindle press. It had to have as much efficiency as possible at a cost that could be justified by the majority of our dealers. The result, the SNP 9929 dual spindle press. In the disassembly mode, two spindles are loaded into the two outboard stations. The operator presses the two OSHA and industry standard palm buttons to cycle the press in just 0.3 of a second. Each of the spindles is pushed out of the nut and drops through the table. The operator dumps the dust collars, moves the nuts to the inboard stations, and reloads the outboard stations with two new spindle assemblies. Cycling the press, spindles are removed at the outboard stations, bushings are pressed out at the inboard stations, and the disassembly cycle is complete. No-go gauges for spindle bushings have also been incorporated. Use them to check wear on spindle bushings prior to removal if desired. As we watch the disassembly process, note that readily available 5-gallon buckets have been incorporated into the design, an example of keeping costs down wherever possible without sacrificing efficiency. Assembly and disassembly require different tooling. The SNP 9929 features tooling that is both color-coded and size-coded to eliminate installation errors. Changing tooling takes only a little over a minute. In the assembly mode, the operator first loads each of the outboard stations with spindle nut components. As he cycles the press, the bushings are pressed into the spindle nut. The inboard stations are loaded with spindles. The spindle nuts are removed from the outboard stations, passed over the two built-in bearingizers, and placed down over the spindles in the inboard stations. Dust collars are added to the inboard stations, and the outboard stations are reloaded. Cycling the press completes the assembly process. Notice how little movement is required to operate this dual spindle press. Careful analysis has placed the incoming components, simple parts, outgoing assemblies, and controls for maximum productivity and minimum operator fatigue. Special bins have been ergonomically located to keep small parts separated and within easy reach. Just how fast is this new dual spindle press? Using service pricing guide parameters, the dual spindle press is 3.2 times faster than current SPG allowances. This means that an operator can now rebuild all the spindle nuts in a 2-row picker in 6.0 hours, as opposed to the current 19.2 hours. Just how much faster is this? Let's look back one more time. The new SNP 9929 dual spindle press, definitely picking up the pace to widen your profits. To check the doffer flange face runout, a small amount of grease is applied to the drill center of the doffer flange. The flange end of the doffer is installed over the machine center, and the bearing end is secured with the quick release mechanism. As the doffer is turned by hand, the operator can take a reading from the built-in dial indicator. If the runout is greater than the tech manual specifications, the doffer is already in place for facing. To face the doffer flange, the sanding disc is turned on, the handle is turned to engage the sanding disc, and the doffer is turned slowly to face the doffer flange. Note that with this tool, the operator does not need to be proficient with cutting tools and tool sharpening procedures. As soon as the runout is within spec, the doffer is backed away from the sanding disc and the switch is turned off. Now the procedure is complete. This tool can also be used to check doffer column runout anywhere along its length. This ensures that your customers will receive vibration-free doffer columns. In addition, the runout of the doffer shaft itself can be checked prior to rebuilding the column. This prevents having to tear a completed column back down due to a bent shaft. The DFG 9910 Gopher Flange Grinder. Fast and easy to use. A great way to pick up the business and widen your profit.
In 1986, John Deere introduced another first in cotton, the 9950. This machine featured several items which have since become industry standards. One of these items was increased field speed. This increased speed imposed additional loads on the picker bar and resulted in a stronger bar being introduced on the 9950. In 1986, this added strength was accomplished by producing the 9950 bar from a special aluminum alloy. The cam arm, sleeve, and all other components of the 9950 picker bar assembly remained common with the 9920. The material change could not be visually detected, so a different paint stripe on the back of the bar was needed to distinguish a 9950 bar from a 9920 bar. On 9920 and older aluminum picker bars, a green paint stripe signified a right-hand bar, while a yellow paint stripe signified a left-hand bar. For 1986 model 9950 cotton pickers, right-hand picker bars were identified with an orange paint stripe and left-hand bars with a brown paint stripe. Picker bars manufactured through 1986 utilized a short split wear sleeve under the cam arm, which was held in place with a tang and with Loctite. The cam arm was pressed on the picker bar and timed with a key. Starting in 1987, all picker bar assemblies utilize a full-length sleeve. This sleeve is pressed over the entire upper bar area. The cam arm is pressed over the sleeve and is timed using a key. The sleeve not only serves as a wear surface, it also significantly strengthens the upper bar area. Original equipment assemblies are identified by the color of the cam arm. A green cam arm indicates a right-hand picker bar. A black cam arm indicates a left-hand picker bar. This makes it important to separate right and left-hand bar assemblies prior to removing the cam arm. Repair parts are identified by a stamp in the bar, an R for right hand and an L for left hand. Older aluminum picker bars can be upgraded by installing this full-length sleeve and new cam arm. Repairing picker bars equipped with full-length sleeves only requires two new tools, the SCT 9928 sleeve and cam tool set and the GAD 9908G guide. This guide is bolted to your existing picker bar stand. It's used to provide clearance between the picker bar and the top plate when pressing on full-length sleeves. This guide does not affect the rework of pre-1987 bars and now is a standard feature of the GAD 9908 stand. Other tools needed are the PBP 9922 picker bar plug and a 7-ton press. Before work begins on a full-length sleeve picker bar, the drive shaft, grease fitting, and plugs must be removed. To remove the cam arm, position plate B on the top plate of the stand and place the picker bar in the stand. assemble ring D and driver A and install into the picker bar so that the flat side of the driver and ring